Back to the review, man. Another person I want to talk about that had an excellent year. I expected big things from. Flew on a lot of people's radar at the beginning of the year. He was always on mine. Was is Danny Garcia, man? Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia. If you really want to justify names that should be in a Mayweather fight, Danny Garcia has completely cleaned out the 140 division. Right? Danny Garcia has totally cleaned out the 140 division. He is the lineal guy at 140. And if you really want to get technical with it, if you want to sell a fight between Danny Garcia and Floyd Mayweather, it's real simple. The elements and the blocks have been there since the fight with Canelo. You had the man on your undercard. So with that 2.2 million people that bought that pay-per-view alone, you're getting a familiar name to at least those people. And he had a spectacular performance against Lucas Matisse. And just to think, 2.2 million buys, you had so many people with things like fight parties and everything else. That means they could have anywhere to 5 to 10 more people watching these fights, you know? So you got a real familiar name that you can put on the opposite side of Mayweather. Also, another storyline that can go into the fight is people don't realize Mayweather's the lineal champion. The lineal. That means you want to date back the history of the beat the man, to beat the man, to beat the man. He's the lineal champion of 147 and 154. Danny Garcia is the lineal champion at 140. To make it real interesting, why don't if I was Leonard Ellaby or Al Heyman or his advisors or whoever, I would be like, hey, Floyd, you're not really a big 147 fighter. If you can find a way to get down to 140, I mean, this is just my opinion. If you can find a way to get down to 140 for this fight, you will have an opportunity to hold the lineal championships at 140, 147, and 154. I don't think nobody in history has ever held 3 lineal titles at one time, ever. Now, a lot of people say that he'll need a Pacquiao fight to solidify his legacy, this, that, and the third. If Floyd Mayweather were to hold the lineal championships at 140, 147, and 154, how can you deny that? This is 3 weight divisions. This man is the man at one given time, man. One given time. So fuck a Pacquiao fight. If you can do that, fuck a Pacquiao fight. People want to see the Pacquiao fight. That's all it is. People just want to see the Pacquiao fight. But if you're talking legacy after you retire 10 years down the road, 10 years down the road when people see you've done something like that, a win over Pacquiao would be good. It'll be great on your resume, but this would take your legacy to a whole nother stratosphere of something that people have never done before in this sport. So if I was his advisors, I'd really be talking to him about that. But Danny Garcia had a great year last year. I expect more to him. I expect more dominance out the 140 division. Even though he doesn't do anything great, he does so much very well. And I don't see anybody at 140 right now that's really a threat to him in that crown that he's holding at 140. Um, what else we got here? Um, I would tap on Nonito Dornier. I expect him to take maybe 2 more fights before we see him back in there with Rigan Diao, if possible. I still think it'll be the same outcome. I still think Rigan Diao would beat him. I don't see the same Nonito from 2-3 years ago when Nonito was just running through cats, man. The power ain't there. Footwork is off. He's a little bit more sloppier. It's like he hasn't been focusing, which I can understand. He just had a new kid and stuff like that. But I don't see this Rigan Diao. We just seen beating Guillermo Rigan Diao. I really don't. Sean Porter. Sean Porter is a name that I want y'all to get familiar with. I've been watching this kid since his Showbox days. I was impressed with him then. He beat Devin Alexander, which wasn't a surprise to me whatsoever. Even though I favored Devin, I knew that Sean had a good chance to win that fight. So for him to do it, and in the fashion that he did it, is no surprise to me. To me, that is the fight for Keith Thurman this year. That fight is a huge fight for both men. That's a fight that can go either way. A lot of people would look at that fight and just because Keith Thurman is on this wave right now, they expect Keith Thurman just to run through Porter. No, that's not going to happen, man. Porter is way more skilled than what a lot of y'all think. I mean, the performance he put on with Devin Alexander, a lot of people will say it was kind of sloppy, but he was just, he was just a better man that night. No, 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 no. That was all planned. Take my word for it. That was all planned. Sean Porter is a better fighter than what a lot of people are giving him credit for. Maybe it's because he beat Alexander, and Alexander wasn't the guy that a lot of people thought he was at 140. But Sean Porter is the real deal, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't believe me, just give it time. Sean Porter is going to make some noise at 140, man. I would personally love to see Sean Porter and Keith Thurman. I think Thurman and Porter both beat Madonna. I think Madonna's next fight 9 out of 10 times will be Mayweather. But I think both of them beat Madonna. I think Sean Porter, Timothy Bradley, and Keith Thurman are the three names in the welterweight division that are just going to probably carry that torch in that division and up to 154 for a minute. But those are the three names in that welterweight division that I'm really, really watching right now. Because like I said, I'm not in love with either three of them as far as like their habits and stuff like that. But to deny the skill that I see out of all three of them, I'd be a fool. I really would be a fool. Um, ain't much popping else in the boxing world. Well, ain't much else happened this year that I just got overly excited about. I mean, there was a lot of predictable things. Like I said, a couple of folks not so much got exposed because we knew the flaws out of those guys, man. We really did. I was aware of like the Andre Ward situation, even though he was injured the majority of the year. Like I said, after he won the Super Six tournament, that where would he go? I mean, a fight with James DeGale is like something that'll make sense, but not exactly. The only shot I see him as far as like putting himself on a major scale that he wants to be on is Chavez Jr., Triple G, or move up to 175. That's about it. That's the only thing I can say for Ward. Um, B Hop continue to do his thing, man. Like I said, I expect him to fight Shumanov in March. I mean, 2014 is gonna hold a lot of good fights. 2014 has the possibility for a lot of good, great fights, man. There's a couple of fights that I think we're gonna see. If I think if Sergio gets past Cotto, which I expect him to do, there's a possibility for him and Triple G to get it on. But I don't see that fight happening. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, man. I don't think Sergio Martinez. I think Sergio Martinez may fight Cotto and just call it a day. Because by that time, I think he's gonna be what 38, 39, close to the 40. I don't see that Triple G fight happening, man. I don't think that's in his best interest at that. Even though truth be told, I would favor him over Triple G. A lot of people get it. Triple G is skilled. Don't get me wrong, but he shows a lot of flaws, man. He knows how to cut off the ring better than I've seen anybody do in the past maybe 8, 9 years. But he shows a lot of flaws with his hands down, man. And a guy with movement like Sergio Martinez can exploit that. Other than that, 2014, like I said, expect Kovalov or Stevenson. Expect Ward to get in there with another big name. Expect Mayweather to remain undefeated. I just don't expect the Floyd Manning fight. I'm just letting you know that now. Sorry to break your hearts. And believe it or not, don't put it out that we may see our first Golden Boy top rank fight in a very long time. Even though it may not be Floyd Manning, the year that HBO had compared to Showtime is going to change a lot in this upcoming year as far as boxing. Mark my words. And in order for HBO to get back in this game, they're going to need a huge fight. And the only way they're going to get that huge fight that they're going to need is probably through Golden Boy. Other than that, I'll holler at y'all, man.